is a miracle, doc. They counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on the beat, back with a family, then back in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am planning to flee. Standing my ground, I am planting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. We're here on a Thursday night because I am live in Birmingham, Alabama, and we are going to talk about the Masters CrossFit Games that launched today with 3 events for athletes up to 55, 54, and 55 to 65 plus did 2 events today. So with that, what's going on, Carolyn?
I had my first day back at work today, not with the students, but first day back. So it's been like catching up on the Masters games as soon as I got home, trying to just fast forward through everything. Was the deadlift one on YouTube? I couldn't find that one.
So I believe that because most of that occurred outdoors, they did not stream it. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Again, I was there, so I didn't really watch the stream at all today. But before we dive into that real quick, I saw an announcement on your Instagram that Crash made. Do you want to share with everybody?
I got an invite to Crash. That's in October. So looking forward to testing my fitness there. There's some great athletes I'm sure that will get released soon. I've already seen 2 of them get released, plus the field that qualified through the qualifier. So looking forward to that, as well as getting ready for NorCal next week.
How excited are you?
Did you see the complex?
I saw what you sent me, and it looks insane.
It's an audition for the LA Gymnastics Olympics. It's a routine. I think I'm going to go like this before I go and after. And
so I showed Ellie Hiller, a semifinal athlete here. She's like, that people are going to fall off the bar.
It's so dumb.
The front roll is where she's like, that gets really crazy.
Yeah, it's very technical. I don't have it yet. I've been just looking at YouTube videos for it. So I'll play around with it this weekend. But I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So I'm working with Jonathan Ortega this weekend here at Masters Games. He's going to be at NorCal shooting. So I said, hey, do you mind getting a couple shots of my friend while she's out on the floor? Awesome. So hopefully we'll get some stuff for you that way.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm excited for Crash. JR always puts on a show with his programming and really finds elements to show off the athletes.
Absolutely. That's what drew me in last year, the programming, the events. It's unlike any of the events that we see really in the off season, besides maybe Rogue, that does a really good job with the implements and stuff like that. I think he gets very creative, but not gimmicky, not doing a circus trick or a routine, but it's well done. It's very organized. I saw it and I was jealous that I wasn't there last year. So I'm super excited to have the opportunity to go on the floor this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you there. It's just so well run. And talking to my wife about maybe driving down because she has family in that area. So we may make it a long weekend and pop in at least for a day to check it out.
It's Canadian Thanksgiving for me that weekend. So that stresses me out less because, I mean, Thanksgiving, like, it's not as big of a deal, I guess, in my family or sometimes even in our country versus the US. But to me, it's like, oh, great. I don't have to take an extra day off of work on the Monday. So it's less stressful that it's a 3-day weekend. No, like I get just the Monday off. I don't get the Friday off, but I'll have to take the Thursday and Friday off. But it's just less stressful than taking 3 days off, for instance.
Yeah. I know as a teacher, those days are very valuable for you guys.
They are. I absolutely hate missing.
So one last thing before we jump into Masters. Our friend Holly Dugan is in the chat. I got to meet her in person for the first time ever this morning. And it was awesome. She is so cool. And the stuff she's putting out today, when you think about all the divisions and both male and female, and they have a team competition going on, and she's covering that. Everything she puts out is so freaking amazing. And the people at CrossFit HQ even commented about her stuff.
Well, I think people have been sharing too.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot.
And so shareable.
Very easy.
Competition organizers would see the value in someone like her.
Absolutely. I don't know how you can't see the value in it. It's, as an athlete, it's easy to repost and to send to your family or your friends and whatnot. It's great job, Holly.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to get her Wi-Fi today and couldn't from the organizers. So she's on a hotspot doing all that.
Wow.
Yeah. Silly. But there was a big event today. It was 3 floors. It was 450 athletes. And it was utter craziness, but seemed to be pretty controlled. There live at the event. And it kicked off this morning with the deadlift run, or run deadlift, however you want to put that. They ran out of a bay door in the back of the convention center, 600 meters down to a cobblestone road, came back and in and did their deadlifts, and then back out they went. And it was a really cool event to see in person.
Was it 600 meters? Like, do we have accuracy on that?
Nobody's complaining that it wasn't.
Okay.
So I'd say that's a good sign.
Were most athletes unbroken on the deadlift and it became a running workout?
Very few were unbroken on the deadlift on the
Really?
last set. Corey's in the chat saying Jamie's killing it.
Yes,
Jamie was in second place coming in after the last run. And then she got to her bar, got 2 reps before the other person and never put the bar down. And when the girl saw her going unbroken, she broke. Like it broke her. And then Jamie won by 9 seconds. So
yeah, that's
altered everything.
That's deflating when you see someone just holding on. You're like, you're struggling and you're like, just put the bar down. You see them keep going. You're like, okay. Yeah. So
it's one of those where Jamie was furthest away from the exit kind of at the beginning. So at the beginning, she had to like hustle to get through the traffic and then work her way. And then every round she reeled more people in and more people in. And then in the last round, her entrance was the closest. So she was able to get on that bar, get the rep started, and that's where she won the event, which is pretty awesome.
And what was the time of that event? Because I don't think people were even close to the time cap.
No.
Like
I want to say
right? Like 10, 11 minutes.
There. Tristan, I think it was 8 something.
No, not for that minute. It would be like,
I
think it was 10 or 11 minutes. I'll have to go to competition corner.
I got so much stuff in my head right now, Carolyn.
I think it was 10 or 11 minutes.
Tristan knows.
But see, that's the one thing that's missing from the comp is if that was their long event, the rest of the events, we can talk about it after, but they are going to be sub 10 minutes, except for.
So the men were 10 to 11 minutes.
What were the women on that one?
I'm trying to get to them. Women. So Jamie did it. Jamie won that event in 11:30. No. She won that event in 11:04.
So
that was not 18 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it just leaves no workout above 12 minutes all weekend.
Yeah.
Which is a big hole in the programming.
Yeah, and they actually started
I like most of the events. We can talk about the overhead squat one, which was a complete shit show. We called it before. I absolutely hated that event to watch. Way too way too much pressure on the judges. But most of the other ones are like CrossFit-y, but which I like. I like all of them, but they're missing that longer event.
Yeah, the overhead squat one, I wasn't even there. So my friend Rudy went. Wasn't there to get to see it. I just was kind of in the back, and everybody was coming back saying he got screwed because he got no rep nonstop.
And that's valuable reps and time in that workout when it's, that workout's a minute and I'm like just sub 2 for like the ones that are racing. You can't get a no rep. The lunges looked terrible. People were hunched over. They weren't even completing their lunges at the end of the line. Like they weren't fully standing up before dropping them. They're just dropping them, running to their barbell. It just put a lot of pressure on the judges, and it's so much pressure on them, and it's not consistent lane to lane. I talked to my friend Jasmine Sheehan, and she had the same issue too. Like she was getting no rep, but other lanes are just flying through, and it's just like as an athlete, it's frustrating because I feel like we're not testing fitness at that point. We're just testing what we can flirt the line with, and it's not the athlete's fault. You kind of go with what your judge is allowing, right? Like if you're going like you're riding that line of okay, what's it going to be with this judge, and you kind of adjust right away once you get a no rep. But if they're letting you do it, then you just kind of do it.
So I talked to an athlete in I think 50 to 55, 54. And I said, like, I've talked to a lot of people, they're getting no rep. He goes, if you're not getting no rep, you're not doing what you need to do because you have to find out where the line is.
But like those, the higher up you go, the speed of the movement is obviously not what we're seeing at like the 35, the early 40s and stuff. But I understand that comment. It is you're trying to find that line.
Yeah, and that's what he said. Like I'm gonna get no rep trying to find the line because in this event you have to. And this is someone that's trying to win his age group.
Absolutely.
Right? And there's no room for error. And what stinks is it was a fun event to watch. Minus all of that crap. It's a shame we can't get it to a place where we get consistent calls because it was a fun race to watch.
Because it's so fast. It's fun to watch. Like because people are finishing within seconds of each other. It's fun to watch. But I hate it.
Everybody's trying to hold on.
As a spectator that like does the sport, obviously, like as us athletes, you're just like looking at the hip extension and they're not finishing them, and you're like, geez, I would hate to be on the floor right now and watching some of the movements and being like, can I, like, where's that line? And just seeing other athletes being like I just know I was frustrated watching, even though it's exciting to see who's gonna finish. I just don't know. I didn't like that one. That's the one workout of the weekend I didn't like prior.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that this would happen, and it did.
It's too fast. It's too light. Everything was light in that. Yeah.
So the other event today was the rope climb, sandbag to shoulder, handstand walk event. I liked the event, like as it went off. I didn't like the way the lines were on the floor because it was confusing to know what was the finish line for the handstand walk.
They should have had a different color on each end of it.
Yeah.
Like whether it's red or green.
Too early.
I saw that like the entire day of people coming down where it says the number like of your lane or 8, 10 or whatever. Anytime you start and finish a section, it should always be a different color. At semifinals, we had 3 different sections of our handstand walk. I don't know if you remember, but it was like, I don't know, certain amount of feet, a little bit longer, and then finally all the way through. And each each one of those sections finished with a different color. So you're like, okay, you're going to the yellow one for round 1. Okay, now you're going to, I don't know, red for round 2, and you're going wherever for round 3.
Yeah.
And when you're upside down, like that's what you're searching for, that, right? That color. If everything's just that same color line, you're like, okay, wait, 1 section, 2, like you're having to count in your head. Sometimes as you're tired, it's harder to do. Sometimes judges are nice and they're like, hey, one more. And then sometimes a judge says nothing and doesn't help you. And then you come down and you're like, ah.
There we are again, not consistent. Some people get the advantage, some people don't.
Yep.
Which sucks.
Yep.
The only other thing I'll say about that one, it was a pet peeve one for me, is the finish line should have been in the middle of the field. They had people on both sides of the field. It should have finished in the middle, crossing a finish line. Done with the handstand, turn, run to the middle.
I guess would they run into each other?
I don't think they would. It's a pretty big gap in the middle. But when you just come down from your handstand and you're done,
yeah,
it's hard to tell if you're done or not.
Yep.
And again, a no finish line finish.
No finish line finish. And is it a stopwatch?
It is a stop. There's no chip timing.
Like, we want to be professional. Like, you can't have a stopwatch for this. It's especially when people are finishing within seconds of each other on that one workout, even the handstand one. Like, there's still people finishing really close to each other. And it's like, are they going to stop the watch when your hands are crossed, when your feet come down from the handstand? Like, there's just so many factors. There's the human just speed of the stopwatch. It's not consistent. And when you're talking about seconds, it makes a difference.
Yeah. Holly says there are a few finishes that are just a couple milliseconds different. And if you're doing it by hand timing, who knows how accurate that is?
Yeah. Even the sandbag, the shoulder, some of them were a little bit in front, especially the ones that were going like touch and go. Like, they weren't fully here. I felt some of that was a little bit off. Is the rope
judging I saw on that, they made them come like all the way up.
Yeah.
They were pretty strict where I was watching. And
Some
again, I'm back in the warm-up area, so I'm not seeing everything.
Yeah. So I've been watching it on my TV here, and like there's still some people here and some people are having to open up hand release, obviously, but like the positioning on that is not consistent. Are the ropes 12 feet? Is that what I heard on the broadcast, or is that just for the higher divisions? Because it looks like the same rig from semifinals, which the very, very top beam would be 15. The one underneath is technically like 14 that you touch.
It's a 15-foot.
But they're calling it 12-foot rope
for
climbs.
the older divisions. There's a
line
on the
okay
rope.
So I was having this discussion with my friend Steph Roy, that she was saying, no, it's 12 feet. And I was like, it looks like the same rig as semis, which is 15 to the top and 14 to, yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's 15 to the top. I mean, I've watched Jamie enough. She's doing 2 full-on pulls to get up there, which is what she does for 15.
Yeah. I figured.
And I know the older divisions were not going to the top.
That's what I thought was 12 foot because I could see that one tape line. It's the same one that we did the seated legless at semifinals, which was to the 12 feet there. It's that same color. So that's why I figured that was a 12-foot marker, and the beam is 14.
So there's a lot of people in the chat talking about that there's a lot on, and they're still going over there at the convention center.
Yeah, I have it on right now here.
We had to make the choice to go a little bit earlier tonight. Probably do that the next couple nights. The way we're breaking it up for a team covering the behind the scenes is I'm covering the morning shift, Ellie's covering the evening shift, and then we're kind of double dutying in the middle. But just so that we're not there for 14 hours a day and able to at least do a show. And then like I'll be up at 6 and back over there in the morning, catching them as they're warming up for the first event. So that's the reason we're on now.
Yeah, right now it's the 35s to 39s, I think, is my friend from Canada is competing.
Yeah, Paul Tremblay's there,
Yep.
and who else? His partner, Adam. I'll go there.
There's some good athletes. Like it's been cool looking at all the divisions all day, and just seeing a lot of athletes that you've seen over the years at semifinals, and whether they're or old games athletes years ago. Not they're old, but like older games athletes.
Yeah, Craig
Yeah.
Kenny's who I was thinking of,
Oh
not
yeah,
Adam.
yeah, yeah.
Craig Kenny.
No, it's been really, yeah, it just brings back memories on different athletes, just to see the longevity of their careers and where they're at now. It's yeah, it's cool to watch.
And it's funny
Tomorrow the
because
teenagers start, so I feel like I'll be watching a little bit of everyone.
it's all these people I've watched for years, and they're the same athlete they were 10 years ago. Paul Tremblay is still strong, and running is not his jive.
That's okay.
It's funny, but Will Morad's in there too.
Yep.
He came back from that injury at semis, sitting in second place behind Mitch Wagner.
Yep. I know that name too. Like it's all names that have been around semifinals, like games, whether it's teams and stuff like that.
And then Julie and I are staying 10 minutes away from the venue. It is crazy tonight, just to paint a picture. So there's the convention center, and then right beside it is the University of Alabama Birmingham's football stadium, which has a game tonight. So half the streets around where you need to get in and out of are closed.
Oh wow.
It is almost impossible to get an Uber. But we're about 10 minutes away, and we have Kyle Ruth is staying here. Mark Hutchinson is staying here. A lot of, I ran into some guys from Sweden. So even though we're 10 minutes away, we still have a lot of the athletes here in the hotel.
I'm sure people are, I mean, the hotel prices and stuff probably went up massively. So 10 minutes is nothing.
Yeah. Tristan said, yeah, dude, roads are closed and that crowd is rowdy. And it took me an hour to get my Uber Eats.
I believe it. That's how I was. That's how it was for me at semifinals this year. It took a while to get my Uber Eats. I wasn't sure whether it was just busier downtown with the events.
So a couple things I wanted to just throw out there is one of the guys we interviewed, Rob Davis, is in first place after the first day, killing it. Carlene Matthews came to play. I interviewed her after her first event, which was the sprint overhead, and she's a smaller statured athlete, and so I said, that's pretty much in your wheelhouse, small levers, and she said, everything here's in my wheelhouse. And I was like, what?
Classic CrossFit.
That's kind of what she said, but I have it on film. It'll be in the behind the scenes, but she is not lacking any confidence coming into this weekend, which is kind of fun to see sometimes.
Yeah.
Just an athlete that knows they're in a groove.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy Berger struggling. He got all those no reps. He's down in the 20s. I still don't have a score for him for the rope climb yet. So hopefully he comes up into where he's going to be in the second heat. Because if you're not in that second heat, and Jamie found today, if you can't see what you're going up against, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
She competed against Carlene today in 3 events and never got to go up against her once.
Yeah. The where you are in the heat and that race that you're able to get that from being in that final heat is huge. It's a huge advantage. So, I mean, they've done one. I'm assuming they didn't reseed after the first event. Rudy would still be with. They did reseed.
They have not received it all today.
Okay, so all day today, he should still be with his regular heat. But there's 10 scores. And, one event that is so based off of judging, like if I'm him, I'm not counting myself out by any means. Like he's got so much experience. He should still do, great. And there's 9 more scores, and there's still a lot of room with 2 more events in the day to get himself back into contention and even into that other heat. Was that after 2 events or 3 or 1 event that he was in the 20s?
After 2 events.
Okay. Still lots of room though.
He finished 37th in the overhead squat workout.
That sucks.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go through the top 3s of all the divisions real fast. I'm going to start at the top because maybe some of the other scores will populate as we get down there. For women 65 plus, it's Patricia McGill, Denise Moore, our very own Denise Moore, and Sue Lawson. For women's 60 to 64, it's Betsy Vanderberg in first. She's always consistently good. Lori Mashishnak.
Also really good.
Always there. And Lynn Watt, always there as well. Those are 3 heavy hitters in that division. In the 55 to 59, it is T.U. Maver, Lee Coates, and Shanna Bunce. In 50 to 54, Carol Mezin, Kim Purdy, and number 1, Cheryl Brost. Again, we talked about her whenever she's in the competition.
Always relevant.
You got to watch out for her.
Yep.
45 to 49, Allie Crawford's in third, Kelly Friel, defending champ, is in second, and the once retired Val Vobrel is in first.
OG
Dang, she
teacher.
looks good. Yeah, you said teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She hasn't competed in a while. She looked really good out there. I don't know if you got to see it of her.
I was scrolling through a lot of things, so I think I saw her division.
Women 40 to 44, our very own Jamie Latimer sits in third place. Carly Newlands in second, and Carlene Matthews in first. We also learned that Becca Voigt can still do rope climbs.
Yeah, she
just
would
in case anybody
do well
wonders.
there, and then she would lose time on the other 2 movements a little bit. And then she was racing? Who was she racing? Carlene, who was faster with the touch and goes, and had faster handstand walks. So, yeah, it was good little race.
Yeah, and then in the 35 to 39, we have Julia Holm in third. Just outside is Andrea Nissler, if you're wondering. And fifth is Haley Murillo. So those big names are fourth and fifth. Julia
Shout
Holm
out to Jasmine 2 and 6, my friend.
Jasmine Sheehan is in sixth.
Yeah.
Man, Mackenzie Riley's in eighth. This is
Allison
Stahl in 10th. What a loaded field.
Oh, yeah.
And then second is Sammy Scorzelli. And number 1, who we actually said to look out for, Caroline Klutz, who kind of made a name for herself last year at Crash.
Yeah, she would have done really, really well on the individual side, the open division or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I had to look up the second place person on Instagram. Lex made me look her up because her doodle looked exactly like one of my doodles, Callie. So then I followed her right away. I was like, oh my God.
All right. And then we go to the men, 65 plus. Third is John Mariotti. Second, John George. First, Freddie Cherry. 60 to 64. We have third, Jose Luis Vaz. Second, Stuart Swanson. First, Joe Ames. 55 to 59, Vic McQuaid in third. Shannon McKibben in second, and Robert Davis the guy we already talked about in first. 50 to 54, Sean Ramirez in his comeback in third place. Jamie McGarva in second, and Justin LaSala in first.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to 45 to 49, Nuno Costa in third, Jason Grubb in second, and Kane Hayes in first. We go to 40 to 44. Looks like things have been updated. And we have Chicho Quesada in third, Julian Cerna in second, and Jonathan Edel in first. Another guy we interviewed coming into this. And Rudy snuck up into ninth after the third event. Finally, in 35 to 39, we do not have updated scores, and it's all over the place. But we talked about Mitch Wagner being in first and Will Morad being in second coming into this final event for the day. But scores are not populated. The only other thing I'll say about today is I was amazed at how many international athletes are here.
Came through. It's
Yeah.
nice.
I've talked to at least 5 people from New Zealand, 3 people from Sweden, lots of people from South America. So yeah, the international flavor is definitely here, which was great to see. And you and Lex asked about the crowds. They are pretty robust for a Thursday. Any CrossFit event, you know how it works. It is more sparse at the beginning of the week, and then as you get to the weekend, it picks up as people have time off and can come watch the whole day. But yeah, it's like the little stands they have at each place are pretty packed, and the barricades are lined with people on all 3 floors whenever there's action going on.
That's good. Games are posting like on their Instagram a little bit of highlights on certain athletes prior to the comp. I still would like for them to share like the link or the leaderboard more often and draw people to the YouTube. Like I think I saw around close to 2,000 maybe on the live today when I would be watching. But again, at first I was looking for the link. I was thinking it was going to be on the CrossFit Games at some point or like shared like on their YouTube, and I wasn't following like the legends on YouTube. So like I was like, where is the link? And then I thought, oh, I'll go to the Games website and then see it from there. And then it's like, oh, okay, I have to follow the legends one. And then I also ended up following the pit team tonight so that I'm ready to watch this weekend my teenage group get to work. But
mentor doing her due diligence.
Yeah, but I would like just to make it easier for people, because not all of us followed to begin with the Legends CrossFit channel, like the YouTube channel. So if they want to get more people watching the stream and have their investment in the stream, be more worth it, they need to be drawing people there. So I feel like all day they should be pushing people to that. I will say that it was great to hear Sean's voice.
Sure was. I was hoping to run into him. I haven't seen him yet. I've seen Tommy and Chase and Lauren, but I have not seen Sean. He had some flight issues trying to come in, so he wasn't here yesterday with the rest of them. The last thing, I would keep saying the last thing. I did hear some tea that CrossFit did hire some people to do mini documentary vignettes on a handful of athletes.
Cool.
And those people are Mariah Moore Oldroyd.
Yep.
And Tyson.
Yep.
Are there filming these vignettes.
Awesome. They do a great job.
Yeah. So, we've been complaining about the lack of content that's been coming out from CrossFit. They have been putting some out for the Masters.
Yep.
And the teens. and that they did hire these guys to come in like just a week ago to do these vignettes. So I was helping Tyson out because the bands, man, the volunteer security are not equipped to handle the different colored bands and who gets access to what. So I had to help him out a little bit so he could get where he needed to be, but it's crazy. We'll talk about that after the weekend's over, but that's been a little bit of the only down thing for us as a team is just fighting the fight again and again and again everywhere we go. But we're getting good content and can't wait to put it together for you guys. And we're really trying to get episode 1 out next week of the behind the scenes, which will episode 1 will be check-in day.
What's on the agenda tomorrow? Which ones are tomorrow? Is that Echo Bike one tomorrow? That gross one? Are the events in order tomorrow, 4, 5, and 6? Or are they out of place?
They are for the younger group.
But not for
the older group, it's a little out of order.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4, 5, and 6 tomorrow in order for 35 to 54.
Okay.
And that starts a little bit later in the afternoon. Do we have that anywhere where I can pull it up super fast? Do you know where?
Here. Event 4 is the snatch ladder. Another sub 2-minute workout.
They added a minute.
They did?
That's what I heard today is they added a minute to that because of the weight change.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a 3-minute cap instead of a 2-minute cap.
Okay. And it's still 2 barbells?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be racing. For a lot of people, it's gonna be, a weight that they can push. And then for some people, that last bar, they're gonna have to focus and they might have to squat snatch that one. And if you want to be like competitive in that one, like execution is gonna be huge. Event 5 is the wall ball one. The Karen, the sandwich with 3 movements in the middle of the dumbbells. So,
but I believe you said was not a symmetrical up and down like you like.
Yeah, I'd like to be symmetrical ideally, but it is what it is. That one has a 15-minute time cap, so we'll see how long, they're gonna go, because sometimes the time caps are close and sometimes they're not. Event 6 is that gross, nasty Echo Bike with the double under and chest to bar buy-in.
Did you ever test it?
No. Can't get to that point. But just mathematically, I just know where it would be.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see who sells their soul on that to try to finish early.
I think the females is going to have more trouble finishing than the male. I think the men, some of them can really, really crank that Echo Bike and get that power output so high that the cals just start going. I think it's a more difficult thing to do on the female side. It's going to be close. I think, yeah, fewer are going to be able to finish it, but
what I'm curious about tomorrow is they had the bay door open all day today for that run. And now the 3 floors will have full air conditioning with that bay door shut today or tomorrow. So hopefully people aren't as fatigued at the end of each event.
And how's the warm-up area and cool-down area? Like, they had not gone as sponsorship or something with the ice cold tub
so
stuff,
there are
or
no
is that there?
ice baths or anything like that there unless you go upstairs to the vendor village, and Boulder Athlete has a couple. So the warm-up area is nice. It's big. It's got lots of platforms, lots of rig space. But that was one of the things we ran into today is basically they gave us a coach's band so we could be in the warm-up area to talk to them. And it got so crowded in there that they made the coaches leave, which that means now our orange band wasn't good anymore. And it was very frustrating because a lot of it was from the team thing that isn't even part of the games. Like a lot of people back there wanted to be with their teams and coaching, and it just was way too many people. When it got to be the individual athletes later in the day, it wasn't even that crowded. There was plenty of space.
Are the teams going on all weekend?
I have not paid attention to teams at all.
Me neither. But I don't know if it's like 2 days and then the rest of the time they can spectate and be there, or if they're going all 4 days and there's different divisions.
Yeah, I know there's lots of divisions of it. I think hopefully it's just 2 days. Because we're done super early on Sunday. Like it's done at noon here. And then yeah. I don't know. I don't know about teams. I like the concept because it brings more people to the party. But like, do they need the full games rig set up to warm up? Or could they have been put somewhere else?
I haven't seen the space, so it's hard for me to comment on that.
So I would like the athlete village area where you just get to hang out. There's no warm up area is massive. Like it's half of a convention center room. Like huge. You could have taken a quarter of that and given it to the teams to warm up in. And then got them out of the elite. Because the elite athletes, this is their games. This is like the big show. To have the teams back there warming up on the same stuff, hogging equipment, all that stuff seemed to be a little much.
Yeah.
Lynn Najiri asks, a random question, where do we know Kevin Jers from? I just have seen him around the Masters space for a long time. Don't know him from anything else.
I don't know.
But anyway, day one's in the books, and our very own Jamie Latimer, and I got my shirt today.
Let's go, Jamie.
Is in a podium position right now.
Let's keep going.
So she has a good day the rest of the good day tomorrow. I think if she gets to tomorrow, she's gold.
Tomorrow's going to have a couple events, I think, for her that she'll have to stay in the mix, right? Like that snatch ladder and that echo bike power output as a smaller athlete, I think will be challenging. So I hope that she's able to stay within the top to then, push where she needs to.
Yeah.
On
I agree.
So, yeah.
I think what's good is the athletes she's at the top with are also smaller athletes.
Yep.
Carlene is a smaller athlete. Carlene may be the only person smaller than Jamie. And
the good thing is, confidence. You start the weekend off and you're doing well. That headspace is huge. It plays a huge factor. It's not just physical when you go to these competitions. It's about having confidence and being in a good mental space. Like I know that's where I struggled the most this year, was mentally, and then I just had trouble physically to go after because I was just like I was in a position I was never ever in my career like at a competition. So had I had a better start, who knows what type of weekend I could have had. So if she's having a great start, let's ride that wave, and who knows where it can go from there this weekend. Even if it's a quote unquote bad event for her, if she knows that she's competing for a podium spot, like that just all of a sudden puts a little bit more energy into the pedals maybe, and pushes a little bit more. So,
And let's be honest, it does the exact opposite on the other side of the leaderboard. Those people
exactly.
that have had a bad start, who are struggling to get any kind of momentum,
Yeah,
they just don't have it.
I've beat people I had no business beating in certain wads, and I've been beat by people that shouldn't beat me just because of where things are. Like, you don't know how people are that weekend. So, yeah, never know.
Well, the last thing I'm going to say is it was nice to be back to a competition that was just about the competition. Even though that Lazar has been addressed a lot this weekend, there are athletes wearing temporary tattoos with his name on their arms. Their Thick Boy is selling Jukic shirts with all
Awesome.
proceeds going to his family. So there are people wearing the Jukic jerseys and wearing temporary tattoos during the events to honor him during the competition. But it feels like a step forward, like not forgotten, but moving a little bit forward to a new normal in the space. And I got a lot of time to talk with Boz and to Becky Harsh, which was really, really good to do and enlightening, and glad I got that opportunity.
Awesome.
So with that, tune in tomorrow night. We'll do these every night throughout the weekend. The only night in question is Sunday. We may have to pause that till Monday because they changed the schedule to end so early. We may try to get out of our last night of hotel bill and hit the road to get back, so we don't have to do 8.5 hours in one day. With that, thank you everybody for being here. You guys are the best as always, and enjoy those Masters athletes. They are killing it, and they're what this sport is all about.
Let's share that link too. Like, if people should be sharing those links on their social medias so that we get more eyes on that YouTube channel. And if you're able to be there in person, get a ticket. Let's support the Masters and the teens as well this weekend.
Awesome. With that, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Media Podcast or Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. I'm confused because it's Thursday night, but we're here doing all the
Like and
things.
subscribe.
See you next time. Like and subscribe. Hit the notifier. All of that. Bye, guys.